Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast and a Villa AM. Kind of following on from the Villa AM we did on Cow George last night. I wanted to circle back and do a Villa AM on Allysson Edward because he's somebody that was linked in that tweet as well, that he played in that game as well with Cow George, and is somebody the Villa were apparently going to view. Somebody a lot of teams in football, in European football, have been going to view, and it looks like Villa have gone in there as well and tried to steal a march on this and get some eyes on their man. Apologies, my bloody system is just gone completely crazy again. It does this all the time. I need to figure it out. Anyway, here we go. So yes, who is this guy? He's a 19-year-old Brazilian, full of Samba flair, and somebody I think that Unai Emery would absolutely mould and would love to have at the club as well. I'm going to bring up some slides about him in the moment there. Sorry, I was slightly distracted there trying to figure out where all my notes were going to, but I was slightly distracted there. But so essentially, where is this all coming from? So we came from a couple of tweets. There could be nothing in it. There could be something in it that Aston Villa sent the scouting brigade or have set up a Brazilian scouting department, and were known to be at Gremio versus Cruzeiro on last night, on Wednesday night, and that's where all this came from. And one of the players that they were said to be interested in was Gremios' 19-year-old left-footed right winger, Alysson, or Alysson Edward as he's known as well. And to be honest with you, I think that there could be something in this. I think Aston Villa are going to go more towards, or have been going more towards, a more analytic-driven recruitment, for good or for bad. They've been doing this for quite a while. They have quite a big analytics department within their recruitment structure, and this is not going to be a discussion on whether we should recruit based on analytics or whether we should recruit based on traditional scouting. All of you will know that there has to be a marriage between the two, and there absolutely will be in this instance. But the reason I bring that up is that Unai Emery does have a data-driven recruitment team as well. Targets versatile players, targets high energy players in the main as well. I think he wants somebody like Alysson Edward is a high energy player to come in and bolster Villa's wide options, and somebody that they could come in and fit into his typically fluid 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2 diamond formations that he plays, because those two formations emphasize intense counter pressing, if you want to call it Genghis influences or whatever it is there, rapid transitions, overloads in the wide positions as well via inverting fullbacks or overlapping fullbacks, a la Matty Cash on the right hand side, Ian Matson and Luca Dean on the left hand side as well. And also why when you have got those pressing wingers as well, it really does bring the best out of your midfield pivots, because it allows them to be in positions to start off attacks, to start off attacks from more fortuitous positions, because realistically speaking, if you're trying to start off your attacks from the wing the whole time, or you're not trying to recycle the ball in centrally the whole time, you become very one-dimensionally, because you're always defending against the defenders in front of you and the sideline beside you. So by having your pressing, your wingers pressers, and being able to press high up the field or press in intermediate levels within the field, then that allows you to win the ball back, and immediately you should be looking to recycle that back in centrally. So having those pressers allows your pivots to be in a better position and to influence the game through forward passes, key passes, or through balls, like we know that Yuri Tielemans is good at as well. So we know that Unai Emery has implemented players like Leon Bailey, Morgan Rogers, and so on. And he's always, and Evan Gassan recently, Morgan Sancho, but he's always expected them to track back and to track their markers as well. He's always expected them to have the ability to go to the end line to deliver crosses, while also exploiting those half spaces and having the ability to cut inside and take shots. He likes left footers on the right, he likes right footers on the left, and so on as well, because he likes to exploit those half spaces in the high line setup. And Aston Villa average, I think I read somewhere, they average about 12 pressures per defensive action in the final third, which is something. It just goes to show that we like the pressure in those areas, or at least we like to retreat back to just the edge of the midfield third and the defensive and the opposition's defensive third, and then press in those situations there. And to be honest with you, Alyson's profile offers strong synergy here. I think it offers strong situational adaptation where he can perform in those positions as well, or those areas as well, as and when needed by Unai Emery. He's only 19 years old. He's not. I sounded like Michael Caine there. He was only 19 years old, and that's a brutal Michael Caine. But if anybody has ever seen the French Connection, you know what I'm on about. But he's only 19 years old. He's got I think it's about 2,500 minutes under his belt. But it really his breakout season has been this season for sure. In how many minutes he's got for Gremio, and maybe not the attacking output from the point of view of goals and assists, but it's what you see on the field. And again, it's so important to watch these players. So important to watch them, not just watch them creating assists or creating those goals, but watching their starting positions where they're making those runs from, watching where they're being told to direct their runs at, specifically if they're opposite footed players on the opposite side of the field. And when you watch Allison, you see that he's an intelligent player. He's got that kind of that Samba style dribbling ability at such a young age. And once again, he looks like he's somebody who's incredibly moldable, because he's kind of came in. Yes, he did play a small bit, very, very small bit last year, but he's came in this year and he's really grabbed that position for his own. And he's been damn impressive in that position, albeit he hasn't had the goal and assist output that a lot of people like to see if you're just looking at the box score, so to say, to rob an American phrase, the box score statistics there as well. So going back to him, I suppose really, what encapsulates him the most is he's energetic. He's a two-way player for sure. And that mirrors Emery's demands, as I mentioned previously there, for complete wingers, contribute across phases. Again, I go back to it, like how Emery, when he first came in, he revitalized Bailey's output and revitalized his work rate, I suppose, within the team. So far at Gremio, Allison thrives on that kind of transitional 4-2-3-1, hugging the right touchline situation before cutting inside in his left foot for curl shots or layoffs or playing it into those pivot players. I can't remember, and I don't have it written down as well, but I think he's had I think he likes to carry the ball just to the edge of the area, and most of his shots come from, I think it's about 18 yards out. So as you can tell, that's just on the edge of the box. So he's not afraid of a shot. And we'll actually bring it up in a moment and rejig my memory when we see the statistical sheet on him in a moment. But he likes to do that, cut inside and lay off or take shots as well from that area. And that kind of fits Villa's emphasis on quick ball recovery high up as well. They use through John McGinn, which allows us to kind of create that vertical progression, or the progressions through that area of the field, where wingers kind of initiate the counter-attacks. They may not be the ones to finish them. They initiate the pressing, they initiate the counter-attacks by bringing it back in field, whether it's by carrying the ball. And I think, once again, this guy carries the ball at a really good clip. Villa want to have more ball carriers in their team so they can carry the ball past low blocks, mid blocks as well. I think they want that in this team, or at least I feel they need that in this team. Whether they want it or not, I think I feel that they need it as well. Where else have I? So defensively as well, he's a very good tackler of the ball. He's got really good tackling numbers, really good tracking back numbers as well. We'll look at those numbers in a moment. But that kind of embodies Emery's everybody presses ethos, or everybody's is a two-way player ethos as well. And it's kind of akin to how he kind of used to play Jacob Ramsey in a similar situation, on that left-hand side, albeit it wasn't the left-hand side, where he would get Ramsey to shadow runners. So if there was runners coming from midfield, or there was fullbacks that like to get high and forward, Ramsey mightn't be the person who puts in that crunching tackle on them, but what he'll do is he'll shadow them, and he always stayed close enough to those players. Specifically, I remember whenever we played, I seem to remember, I could have it wrong, whenever we played like the likes of Man City or Arsenal, and Ramsey would be in the team, very much tracking those whether it was Ben White running down that right wing, or whether it was Kyle Walker running down the wing for Man City. He would track them, he would make life difficult for them, and when they win the ball back, he was as adept at getting that ball forward, and he was good at kind of, being strong on the ball and tackling. He wasn't afraid to tackle from that point of view as well. So kind of like how he did with that, it might work. But I think though that as well, obviously this guy is a young player. He's only 19, as I said before, and it might require him to refine his exuberance when he does win the ball back, because he's very much a case of win the ball back, head down, go, and or make that sparkling pass. He is somebody that you kind of do need to get him to play the simple pass sometimes, as opposed to playing a difficult pass as well, just to allow us to sustain build-ups as well, and so on. But it's something that he will learn. He's very, very youthful. He's in his first full season in football, and he's tearing it up for Brazil currently at the moment. So as I mentioned previously, strengths are his pressing and defensive output. He's 41 tackles, 15 interceptions, which is quite mature for a teenager. I think be able to get your hands dirty, specifically when your bread and butter is being a winner and carrying the ball as well. And I suppose that does enable and help Villa's. You might hear of Villa's trap and counter style that they would have as well there. It allows fullbacks as well, specifically if we're playing on the right hand side. Matty Cash will get forward to some level, and it will allow him to do that, safe in the knowledge that you've got this speed demon that can get back and can help in defense as well. The progression, he progresses the ball quite well. He's very creative too. So he's somebody that would replace that latent pace and that ball progression that might have been frustrating under Leon Bailey, but we do miss it. We missed that since the year that Bailey was humming. We missed that, and it was something that really put us in a position to get into Champions League, and it's something I think that Unai Emery would like to get back to, but in the interim is playing more defensive players there. And this guy is, as I say, if he can play both ways, I think we would see quite a difference on that right hand side as well. And also, look, he's versatile too. He's he has the ability to play on the left hand side. He's left footed, so he's the ability to play on the left hand side. He has played sparingly and sparingly centrally as well. And he gets quite a lot of touches in the attacking third, so he gets busy in the attacking third when he needs to. And most of his touches come within that attacking third. And he's a younger player, so he's not a ball dominant or a ball hungry player, but his game is carry that ball, as opposed to being somebody who can play around in triangles. He's a forward carrier of the ball and will carry through blocks as well, which I think is interesting as well. Like, weaknesses, not a great finisher of the ball. He's definitely a winger. He's definitely not a striker. He's not a massive finisher of the ball. Takes a decent amount of shots, but not always on target. It's something that he can learn. It's something he can go on as well. He's about 6 foot, somewhere between 6 foot and 6'1", but he's not a very physically strong player. So he's wiry, he's athletic, he's not physically strong. He could do with putting on half a stone of muscle, I would imagine, which is easier said than done. And he's not going to be someone that's going to win the ball in the air for you either. I think that's fairly evident if you take a look at him as well. But I think realistically, overall, he has the attributes that would slot seamlessly into that high upside right winger rotation upgrade type player in Unai's system, because of his pressing ferocity, because of the fact that he's got that ability to win the ball back and immediately turn the transition there due to his pace, has the nous to play back inside as well, and to not always be the person that takes it, that just 100% takes it forward, albeit you do need to clip his wings in certain instances to make sure that he doesn't have that exuberance as well. So definitely somebody that could fit into this system. Before we there we go, let me just pop this up. Let me look at a couple of metrics for him, and then we will tie a bow on this one afterwards. But he's an interesting player. There it is. That's what he looks like. Allison. Oh no, I'm after putting the wrong. the wrong slide here. Give me 2 seconds. I know that this is... Now that I have the right slides in there, let's take a little look at Allison there. Apologies about that. I will actually move myself over here, and that's better. That's a small bit better. So taking a look at Allison here, what we can see here is once again the defensive statistics really jump off the page for this guy. He's a super defender, going back and getting the ball. His passing statistics leave a lot to be desired, but realistically speaking, he's not been tasked with making an awful lot of passing attempts. A lot of those are trying to do it on the transition after he wins the ball back, as I mentioned in my preamble there. Also, he attempts an awful lot of dribbles. So the big thing with this guy is his dribbling ability. His ability to take this ball from back to front is very good. You know, it really is. And yes, because he's a good dribbler of the ball and because he takes the ball off dribbling, he does get dispossessed. And that's what happens with a lot of dribblers, specifically somebody who's only 19 years of age, 19 and a half years of age. So he's raw. He is a raw type of player, but he's got a lot of physical attributes, and he's got an awful lot of built-in inherent pieces to his game that are that you can't really buy, you know, to be honest with you, that you can't train. You can only really have them inherently, and that is great work rate, good, very good pace, and he's been looked up by some quite big teams like Liverpool. Apparently, were literally all in backing the Brinks truck up for him in September. You see there the 5 million mark that Transfer Market have him down as. He won't be 5 million. Apparently, Gremios have signed him to a new deal. It's a 60 million release clause, and they're going to look for pretty close to that. I don't know whether this guy is going to come to Aston Villa, but what I do know is that if Aston Villa are going to be scouting down in the Brazilian leagues and they're going to be looking for the next guy or the guy who's like this to come so they can mold him, well, that can only be a good thing, because there's so much talent in Brazil that never makes its way out of Brazil, that never gets to show its latent talent on the world stage, and to kind of grab those guys before, like as I always say, to grab the guy before he comes the guy is really important. And you know, maybe I'm wrong in my assertion that this Gremio will look for huge money for him, but it seems that Liverpool were willing to offer big money for him in the August or in the September transfer window, and by all means it seems that they will be going back for him in January. So unless Villa can steal a march in this and find a spare 30-40 million down the back of the sofa somewhere, I'm not quite sure that this guy will get over the line, but he's a fun watch. And as you know, I will scout players that are linked to Aston Villa. I will scout players that aren't linked to Aston Villa, because I just love scouting. If it isn't for you, if talking about transfers isn't for you, this isn't me saying we will sign him. This is me talking about the player, because I just absolutely adore watching footage. As I say, I have an extremely expensive subscription to Y-Scout, which I make the most use of as I possibly can, because I just enjoy watching footballers. I enjoy trying to formulate my own opinions on them, and it forms quite a lot of the portion of this podcast and the whole the podcast that we do in general, because it's a fantastic pastime, I find, and it's a great hobby that I find I enjoy. I gave up playing Football Manager. Instead, I watch footballers and make my own determinations on them that way, and I'm getting much more enjoyment out of it as well. Before we leave there, I just wanted to show you guys that massively over detailed kind of radial graph that we see there on the right hand side. The green is obviously Alysson, the red is Gesan, Buendia is the blue, the white is Sancho, and Rogers comes in there in that kind of peachy color there as well. An interesting graph, but one of the things I want to show is that each and every one of those players seem to have a skills, have a trait or something similar, or a trait or something that's unsimilar to the other players. Really interesting there. In some areas, you see Buendia prefers higher amounts of passes. We see there that Sancho has a better pass accuracy, and he gets dispossessed far less than any other player in the team. We see that Morgan Rogers, better shot creating actions, better goal creating actions. We see Gesan, better shot on target rate, albeit he gets dispossessed quite a lot. And we see there, if Alysson was to come in at 19 years of age, takes as many shots as Emi Buendia, and has some pretty good pretty good metrics there in comparison to a lot more senior players that have played an awful lot more minutes than him as well. So this is a hell of a lot more of a longer podcast than I thought it was going to be. But hopefully you enjoy that. And if you do enjoy the scouting series, well, keep listening, because I absolutely love doing it. And we're going to sprinkle a bit more into it, into these Villa AM situations, so that you guys get very specific kind of podcasts early in the morning. And I hope you do enjoy them. So that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.